Let me know when you're ready.
Now. An hour, 4 hours ago.
In 5, 4, 3.
Say 3.
We are tWoTcast, episode 294.
No, he doesn't know. Okay. All right, everyone shut the f*** up. Let's ready to record.
We like to start every show by yelling, "We are tWoTcast." Can you do that with me? On the count of 1, 2, 3, go. We are tWoTcast! Now we can start.
The Wheel of Time Reread Podcast. Explicit and R. Freaking rated. Jono's the wild card. Always talking shit. Joe's the straight man. He's a total dick. Tom is still obsessed with X-Men.
Previously on X-Men.
We are tWoTcast.
5, 4, 3, start. Is that what you guys do?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite TV shows from when I was a kid.
I'm Jono, and with me as always is Joe.
Contact. Hey, Jono.
Hi. And frequently, but not always, but all the time, I want him to be here. Tom.
Study your math.
Deal. Great deal. Studying math is important.
Jono, I was just editing 291.
Yes.
And
today
I said 95% of the time, and you argue with me. What do you think it is?
92? I would go for how often Tom is actually on the podcast.
Yeah.
I would go somewhere in the low 80s.
Are we rehashing content right now?
Well, if we didn't finish Jono's thought, I cut him off. We didn't finish it.
Yeah. It's like a weird circumcision. And now guess what? The glands look strange at the back.
He landed on 92%. I think it's funny that we don't have a plan for the tonight's show. We're not going to start another book. We're just going to wait till we get to episode 300. And like you are kind of doing a clip show right from the beginning. A horrible rerun. And then you realize it's a clip show and you're like, God damn it.
I made time out of my schedule to listen to this clip show.
You know, the best clip show of all time is Community, right? When they did the clip show that was fake and all the clips were episodes that never existed.
I cannot disagree with that. You know what we should do? Cover Community next time.
That's a fucking fantastic. No, we can't cover a comedy. What, are we going to make jokes that are better than the show? Well, I mean, obviously we could. We're comedic geniuses, but
we have been actually celebrated as such by ourselves. So, I mean,
we've won multiple podcast awards for best comedy fantasy show that has tWoT in the title.
It's a niche group, but guess what?
I mean, it's
multiple.
It's a small group,
but bigger than you think.
It is bigger than you think.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like at least a 20-pound tip.
Just like my dick. Yeah. We made the same joke in a different way. And anyway,
I think mine was a little more subtle and I would say better.
That's
both
why
of
we
them
won
have the
those
right
goddamn
fragrance,
trophies.
though. Yeah.
Anyway, hey, did you say what we're doing tonight? Oh, no, we're still on small talk.
We're still on small talk, which, by the way, is apparently neither Joe nor Tom's penis, both of which are large penis,
rather large.
I apologize for missing the descriptor there of rather, which, by the way, is named after Dan Rather.
I mean, Tom's is, mine's not.
Oh,
yeah. What do you got?
Tom's Dan Rather penis because he's got gray hair.
I basically have a pencil with a 20-pound tip. It's like
your poor wife. She's gonna thud into this.
I mean, once it gets in, it's
thud into it. Look,
like, you know, when you're like,
there's
when you're first about
small dick, medium dick, large dick, and in between medium and large is a Dan Rather dick, and that's what we do.
The Dan Rather penis. But you know, like when you're about to like fuck, like, you know, you're kind of like, let's see how like wet this like pussy is.
What the fuck are we talking
And then
about?
all of a sudden you just get this 20-pound tip.
Yeah, we should
by, like, a weird pencil behind it.
Tom, I have no ability to cut Jono off.
He doesn't. You know why that is?
Change the top.
All right, let's talk about Dan Rather. He got beaten up.
Way too far.
So no, I did want to talk about JordanCon this year.
Yeah. Okay.
That Jono and I attended, and then no, we did not record an episode from JordanCon
that you know of,
and no, we to
do not have, I don't know, anything like a live show or, like just sitting in the lobby, which a lot of other podcasts were doing.
We did actually record a show, not of ourselves, but of someone else with our gear.
I can't believe you guys didn't that first time ever without recording a show at JordanCon.
Incorrect. We didn't record JordanCon 1.
JordanCon
1.
Or JordanCon 2.
Or JordanCon 2.
Okay.
Yeah, cunt. Fuck you, Tom.
It's been 3 through 12.
All right. First time since the first time we recorded a show at JordanCon that we didn't record a show at JordanCon.
That's true. And there's been in our defense, there was several years when we did an episode on Friday and Saturday. So, I think it makes up for it.
Yeah, it balances. Also, there's also this thing that called We Got Fucked Up and you didn't come. So,
yeah, Tom wasn't there. So I was very upset about it. I was inconsolable. I was crying outside. I was like just standing out in the rain. Like everyone was going inside and running inside. And I was just like, Tom's not.
It's very strange. For those who have been to JordanCon, like most of the time, like most places outside are actually sheltered, except for where Joe is standing.
Yeah, I just went outside into the street, really.
It's the best time to cry. Nobody can tell. It just looks like you're getting rained on.
Yeah, that was my plan, Tom.
I'll be honest, a snotty crier. It looks like there was snot coming out of both eyes, nose, and maybe even just drooling. But that's just Joe.
Interesting. For the viewers, obviously the viewers can see that Joe and John are sitting right next to each other. So Joe can't make eye contact with Jono and be like, stop talking, I'm about to talk. And they're just talking on top of each other like I've never seen before.
I was actually going to say, Jono, we need to be careful not to talk on top of each other. All right. So what else? So what happened at JordanCon?
Well, first off, literally, Joe's correct. I was talking on top of him because we're sitting together. And I apologize for sitting on top of you.
That's fine.
Secondly, it was a slightly different styled
very
affair.
Different. Yeah.
I guess we call it slightly, as opposed to last year.
Last year was very, very different.
There we go.
2 berries. This year, 1 berry. So one of the things that I found adorable was that we got stopped on Friday at least 20 to 30 fucking times for real. And they were like, where's tWoTcast? Why isn't it on the schedule? Like, what are you guys doing? Like, where is the tWoTcast going to be? And we're like, we don't have a show, man. Like, the schedule stops at 5:30. Like we're a late show. Like, that's not, we don't really fit into that late afternoon groove before dinner time, like they're, kind of thing. And it was weird. It was weird.
Nothing we do can be done when the sun is still out.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. And most people accepted that reason very readily, but some people were just like, that's stupid. You should be on. And I was like, I agree.
First off, yes, we agree. We should have been on. Secondly, we understand why. Mostly looking at you.
Do we have, let me ask you guys, hey, serious question. Do we have beef with JordanCon now?
Oh, never with JordanCon. Never with Jimmy and Jennifer.
Let's have Jen and Jimmy on, and I want to have like an actual argument and just scream. Yeah, let's scream at them.
Yeah, maybe if Jimmy, let me text them. If they get on the show, then we'll see.
Maybe they don't just yell.
We'll just yell at them.
Yeah.
Could you record yourself driving to their house with a velvet glove and then ringing the doorbell, and when they answer it, slapping them in the face?
Yes. And then tossing a gauntlet down? Yes.
Yes, I can.
Definitely.
And it's going to happen.
Make sure you don't mix those up. Don't slap them in the face with a gauntlet and throw the velvet glove down.
I've seen Robin Hood Men in Tights. It looks uncomfortable.
That might actually cause injury.
In that case, I'll burn the recording.
Never
But I can't guarantee that in our mental state right now that we won't fuck it up.
We'll get fucked up.
Slap them in the face with a glove and then drop some ground beef that you bought at Kroger on the way in their house. Just say beef and then walk away.
I'll just be like, we got beef! And then I'll throw it in their front door and they'll be like, what the fuck?
80-20?
Like, we'll peel out of their driveway.
Yeah. Tom, what's happening?
Like, Joe, good to see you.
What the fuck? We got beef!
Yeah.
And then I'll throw but it has to be opened, right?
Do you
a gross opened?
Ooh, yeah. We should have had beef from like a week ago. Like something that's kind of started to fester.
Yeah, like something that's not like fresh. Like a fresh package of meat.
Yeah, we don't want to just like drop off what's actually going to be dinner tonight.
You want to throw something that
thank you.
They're going to be like, what?
That's fuck. this is some nice 88-12 beef, and we're gonna have a nice meal. Like, no, we want something either fatty or too lean to actually like where you can't make a good like meal out of it.
So long story short, we had a great time. It was fun. It was a weird Jordan Con because it wasn't
100% Jordan Con. There were like all the people there, but what's weird about it is like the actual like lobby was more on fire than normal, but
which I kind of enjoyed.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Like you could actually just hang out and you'd be hanging out with people. But the panels or panels as they call it, I've heard.
No one's heard that.
Were kind of
no one's heard that.
Drier, right? Like there are fewer people, fewer things.
Well, so even the panels were socially distanced and capped. So like even if we had a show, it would have been weird because it would have been like spread out chairs with like 8 people in the room. We would have been like, what the fuck? This is our live show?
Yeah, let's get real. You would have completely ignored all the precautions and like, we're doing whatever the fuck we want. Let's go.
That's true.
We probably would have, which is probably why we weren't on the schedule.
And again, like literally programming stopped at 8. Like there was nothing after.
Yeah, the last panel would start at 5:30. And
we should have just
7.
Should have just rented a ballroom from the hotel.
But then that was like
the unsanctioned.
Oh yeah, man, that would have been good. What is the deal with that?
Should have done that.
Not part of Jordan Con. We're just having a show.
This is just
at Jordan Con.
So again, a lot of the other podcasters there were recording in the rooms or recording in the lobby for fun, for like the ambiance of people walking by us and stuff. And like Matt Hatch was doing. Holy shit! Hey, we have a surprise caller. It's Amy Romanchuk.
Fantastic.
Oh, hi, Amy.
Amy is doing yoga.
What's happening?
I hope Alan did this without.
Amy's connecting to audio. I really hope it is Alan just messing around.
What if Amy doesn't even know she's on?
That's exactly what I'm hoping.
Thinking.
Yeah.
What is going on? I don't know what's happening.
So for the viewers, Amy Moranchuk, wife of editor extraordinaire Alan Romanchuk from the Wheel of Time, has joined the Zoom call in a yoga pose with no sound.
Well, we should have sound now.
I hear you. Yes.
Hi, Amy.
Yeah, we're on my iPad, so I'm trying to figure out.
I'm under Amy. If you can figure that out.
I can and will.
She's administering. Well, when you drown, you get never.
We don't need to know. We don't need to know, Alan.
I disagree. I've had my first erection in 3 weeks. Please go on.
It's totally innocent.
We're on my iPad, so I can't, which I never use for Zoom. So I can't find the little thing for turning off the.
You guys got the warning when you joined that this call is being recorded, right?
Yeah. Just okay. So what?
Yeah.
What?
Amy,
maybe it's all the more reason to keep my picture. I can't figure out because I'm not on my computer, and this is not what I normally do.
Well, you can see Amy. Here.
You can see Amy's.
I can see you doing downward dog.
Yeah, that's her background. That's just her. When she joins. Hey! Oh, I preferred the yoga pose. I'll be very honest. It'd have been much funnier if it was just the exact same thing.
You know what? It really doesn't matter at the end of the day because this is just audio podcast. But I want to see you.
What was that picture?
Because we're
what was that picture?
Oh, here. Well, let me turn up the light.
Yeah. And, what picture? Oh, in the yoga pose.
Yeah, it looked like Bob from Twin Peaks smashing through a wall behind you or something.
No, that's a painting by a guy named Lynn Ott, and he was actually blind, and he had like this tunnel vision, so he could only see, like a pencil's amount of vision, and he had to be like right up close to it. We have a couple paintings by him because it was pretty incredible.
That's good.
Does he do dick pics?
It looked pretty cool.
Perfect for that.
Yeah, it's really amazing, and he had a great color sense, so he could say he had assistants that helped him paint the background, and he would give them the exact hue he wanted them to paint, and so he orchestrated the whole thing. It was really pretty amazing.
Interesting.
Hey, Joe, are we going to leave this like this, or are we going to officially introduce them and cut out
why
what
bother?
we just did?
Yeah, why bother?
Yeah,
Fuck it.
I think the intro that we gave them was great.
Amy and Alan Romanchuk, two people who don't need introductions, and if you don't know who they are, fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Pretty good. That's a pretty good intro.
Yeah.
Hell of an intro.
Thank you. Yeah. This
Hey,
is for
everybody.
Tom. Tom didn't know who you were.
Now in
Hey.
Philly, live in Philly.
All the
Live
viewers,
in
go
Philly.
fuck
This
yourself.
isn't
You guys
live,
are in,
baby.
wait, you guys are in Philadelphia?
Yeah, we moved.
Yeah, they moved.
Oh shit!
Hello.
I don't know.
Yeah, he
Tom's
was
an
out of
idiot.
the loop. How would he know? Where are you, Tom? You
I'm in Boston for work right now.
Boston. Wow.
Yeah, I actually just moved back to Georgia, and so of course 2 months later they sent me back to Massachusetts for work.
Oh man.
Yeah. No, we that's why we didn't go to JordanCon, or one of the reasons there. But we were in the midst of moving from South Carolina to Philly.
We were actually just discussing JordanCon and how weird it was this year. And
You
one of
guys
the
wanna
weird
talk
things
about-
was that you guys weren't there.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you want
Which
to
we
talk
hadn't
about what it
quite
was like
gotten
to
to.
be not at JordanCon?
You know what happened? Yesterday I went to the mailbox, and first of all, I was surprised that having only lived here less than a week, there was mail addressed to us in the box. But one of the things in the box was a package. And who knew us well enough to send us something in a package? And I pulled it out, and it was from JordanCon. And it was our JordanCon t-shirts, name tags, and programs that they sent us. I was so touched.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's
Nice. That's good follow through.
I didn't get that. I'm gonna.
And then she threw herself into doggy style again.
No.
So touched.
Yeah.
That's not what it's called, Alan.
It is.
It is if you do it right, Tom.
I get heckled when I do my yoga every morning.
Yeah, Tai Chi is so much better. But
We have warring routines in this household. One of us thinks that only Tai Chi exists, and the other is accommodating to many different things.
Oh, I
Which
see.
is probably why our marriage works.
You're accommodating to many different poses.
Yes, which is why. Yeah. Anyhow.
you know, Tom, watching your video, I have this idea that you've put your phone on the top of a Lazy Susan sewer lid, and it's slowly turning around as you look down at it.
That's right.
Is that right?
Influenced by the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from an early age.
No, I'm just walking around outside smoking.
Oh. Do they allow that in Boston? Gee.
I've been in a hotel for a month, so I'm pretty tired of being in the room. But I am gonna have to go back up there a little bit.
Yeah. So how are you?
We're gonna be in Philly in
What?
October, aren't we, Joe?
I mean,
Are you going?
Probably not.
Yeah, we have our cousin's getting married, so we're headed up that way.
Yeah,
Well, if it's Halloween weekend, we're not going to be here because my cousin's getting married.
it's early. It's like the 3rd. I think it's Sunday the 3rd.
Joe, why don't you guys come up
Yeah.
Well,
and
Lauren
just don't
can't,
go to the wedding?
because she's Perjurnate.
Yeah.
But
I was thinking about she's Gregnant. I was thinking about going up with just Violet for the day, but I mean, I wouldn't have any time. You know, I'd be up and back in 24 hours kind of thing. I'd barely be there.
That's a long drive.
Yeah. Because Lauren can't fly. So
why not? What's her deal?
If I left her behind, I would fly. I told you, she's Gregnant.
Gregnante.
Our little cousin's getting married.
Obviously, I have to send them that video after this call.
I'm sure they would love nothing more than to watch a.
Can you get Perjurnate?
I mean, it's hilarious.
On toilet?
Yeah. It's a bad kind of. It's a combination of what would you describe this shit as? Just
the stupidest things you could enter into Google to find out how and why you would get pregnant. Yeah, and then somebody that's not that person is just reading them out verbatim. And it's very funny.
Nobody thinks nobody thinks that's not funny.
It's very funny. It's also very sad. It's sad. It's where humanity is in the U.S. Wonderful.
I guess it depends on which side of the statements you are. If you're just reading them,
the guy reading it is he's fine.
Yeah, he's having a good time. Because guess what? He's not Gregnant.
Can you get starch masks? Anyway, Amy, it's lovely to see you.
Hi.
Amy, you've been on the podcast never, because every time I ask you to be on the podcast, you're like, no, I can't be up in front of people.
I don't want to be on the podcast, but
you're on it.
Well, you are right now.
No,
I'm here because I love you guys.
We love you.
Yeah, I did used to be an actress, but that was another life.
Yeah.
So the beauty of this is that it's just audio. So like, you know, like you're not in front of everybody except for the viewers, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, so we
there
can
are thousands.
I beg your pardon.
Yeah.
Beg. Beg.
Never mind.
Perfect. I enjoy watching the dynamic here of both mutual love and a little disconcerting of everything the other one says.
Yeah. So, John, did you finish The Servant?
We finished season 2 last night, and all I can say is, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I like Shanda and I had both really enjoyed it. It was a weird night. I'll be honest. Wednesday night, and Joe is so annoyed with this. Wednesday night, I spent probably half the night like awake, just baffled by what the fuck I had been seeing, but at the same time, fascinated. I don't understand. Like, there's no one in the right, in the wrong. Oh, there's a lot in the wrong.
No, there's a lot of people in the wrong in that.
There's
show.
a lot in the wrong. No
like
one's
everyone.
But there's no one like. You think you're going to be afraid of Uncle George? Kind of, but at the same time, maybe he's for the good, maybe he's not.
So there's no one to root for? Is that?
Oh, do you know Alan? Tell me about Uncle George.
Tell me about Uncle
George. I told him.
Tell him on the podcast.
Tell it again.
Yes.
This is all on the podcast, Amy.
I know, but what he told you about Uncle George hasn't been on.
No, Uncle George is a guy named Boris MacGyver, whose father was a famous character actor. And MacGyver's kids grew up where I grew up in upstate New York. And so we knew them. We went to parties with them and this and that. And the last time I saw Boris, who's Uncle George, I don't know, he was maybe 6 or 8, something like that. So MacGyver, obviously an Irishman, married a Ukrainian woman. And you can see MacGyver's stuff. He has a great role in Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Midnight Cowboy.
Midnight Cowboy is his ultimate.
I just remembered, so I looked it up. I don't know. I'm showing you this. It's not going to help.
Stop showing your glowing screen to the camera, John.
When you guys say, do you mean Richard Dean Anderson?
Yeah, that's MacGyver.
Different MacGyver, Tom. But anyway, go on, Alan.
Yeah, there's a great scene in Midnight Cowboy when Joe is on his knees in a motel room.
There is. Be a Joe theme.
And MacGyver's this perverted evangelist, I guess. And he's saying, what happened?
Tom went
AWOL. So
it's fine.
Do you believe, Joe? Do you believe, Joe? And there's this wonderful scene. You know, he's about to do some harm to Joe. Not O'Hara, but no.
Yeah.
Kind of like Uncle George.
Anyway, if you've never seen the movie, it's an absolute must. As is Breakfast at Tiffany's. But anyway, I'm sorry what happened to Uncle George in Servant.
He had it coming. Probably.
He was creepy. No, I don't know if we talked about this, John, but Shyamalan, his whole thing
M. Night Shyamalan.
Is just throwing out scary tropes all the time. What's more important than plot or even acting, although acting is kind of important, is the mood that's being set. And if he can keep that creepy mood going through the whole thing, he's hooked you.
I would agree with that.
Whether it makes total sense or not.
Are you guys talking about the show where the lady's baby died and she has like a fake baby doll?
Yeah.
Okay. I watched the first season of that a while ago, but I haven't seen season 2. We thought it was so weird.
It's totally bizarre. But one of the things we liked about it was we were interested in Philly at the time. And this was well before the pandemic. And so we liked all the street scenes because they were actually in downtown Philly. And
he said most things there.
Yeah, and when we finally came up after we both were vaccinated and stayed up here for a month, we walked around looking for that place and I think we found it. But
it's right. It's off of Rittenhouse Square, and one of the best beer outlets in Philly is right around the corner from it.
Which was closed every time we went there. But.
So see, Joe and Tom, it's another reason to come up to Philly.
We should see if
I only have one reason now. Although my entire family is up there, I only have one reason to go up to Philly. It's you guys.
Oh, you shouldn't, Joe. You shouldn't put that on the internet.
Family. That sounds like my family.
Oh, I mean, I love my. I mean, I now have an extra reason to come to Philly. Is what I was trying to say.
Oh, right.
I also have family up there, so you know what? Fuck it. Let's just make it happen.
Field trip.
Well, anyway, we don't. I mean, honestly, fuck the people who listen to this. I'm more than happy to talk about that show. My wife is sitting downstairs with Violet and Lauren, and she could not be more annoyed that she's not here to like talk about it. Cause I kept telling her like, well, this is what Alan sent me. This is what Alan sent me about Servant, because Rupert Grint is fucking fantastic.
Oh, and Ron Weaselby?
Should we bring
Wallaby was in that show?
Should we bring Shanda into the conversation? Are we just going to do a whole episode about the Servant?
Well, she's just a blow up doll. She's not real. We all know that.
No, Rupert
we should not bring her.
Better each episode, doesn't he? I mean, he's just so sleazy. He's so great.
He's such a dick. Like he's not even like my family is dead or whatever, or like my nephew is dead. He's just kind of like
spoiling the show, Jono.
It happens technically before.
We are a spoiler.
Spoiler. But he just doesn't.
Spoilers for the Servant, everybody.
Every time he walks into a room, he finds a bottle to open. Like
20 minutes later,
it's
spoilers for the Servant.
It's almost a fantasy at this point to walk into that house because you can drink great whiskey or wine in any room. Like somehow $1,000 fucking bottle of whatever the fuck you want.
Okay, so here's the funny thing about that house. I think Alan probably told you in another lifetime. There's exterior shots of the house, which are what we found. But the interior part of the house, it's set up like a Philadelphia row house, except they built the interior of the house in a warehouse somewhere outside of Philly. So all of the interior shots and the house and the shots that go from interior to exterior are inside of a warehouse somewhere. It's not an actual house.
That makes sense because Shando is very confused, but that's just normal because, again, not a real person, that kind of thing. Well, look, Joe is telling me very he actually
subtly.
He just wrote it on my thigh. It says,
What is Alan's thoughts on the show? Amazon Watt Prime show.
So, again,
I thought we were talking about Servant.
That is what
is it Servant or the Servant?
Servant. There's no the, because what's funny is like I actually wrote to Alan one time and he just didn't respond, and I assumed that's because I put the article in front of it. So I apologize.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
Alan just gets your email and just goes, he wrote it wrong. Fuck this.
Yeah. It's like that one time I sent Joe an email about a Wheel of Time, and Joe just
it's the Wheel of Time.
The Wheel of Time, you fucking cunt. So anyway, let's talk about the Wheel of Time.
I just tweeted M. Night Shyamalan to see if he wants to be on the show with Alan and discuss Servant. See what he says.
Yeah, he lives not far from here. So.
Oh yeah, he can just come over and share the same iPad screen.
That's true.
Maybe you could unpack some boxes with us.
Really? I mean,
about creepy.
We should do a span of our living room.
Could you imagine? Maybe one of his arms will be ridiculously huge and worked out.
Ridiculous.
Imagine
if
M. Night Shyamalan came over to the house to do the show, and then like for the
oh my god, give Alan and Amy like 5 days. They're gonna know M. Night, and they're gonna be like best friends with him.
Yeah. Now I don't mean to digress, but we saw Jono's doppelganger the other night in a movie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Or in a show. So do you know who Richard Iowati is?
I thought for sure you were going to say Rupert Grint.
No.
Well, Rupert's
those gingers, they're all the same, right? You know what I mean? Soulless pieces of shit.
Okay.
tWoT.
Hard agree.
IT Crowd is where he first hit the radar
Played Moss in IT Crowd.
against
So first off-
Chris O'Dowd.
Yeah. So he played Moss, the other one.
Great show. You need to see that one.
I'm going to look up.
Even Harriet was intrigued by that because the catchphrase in the thing was, "Have you rebooted? Have you turned it on again? Have you turned it off and turned it on again?"
Have you tried turning it on?
And
Have you
so
tried
that
turning it off and
became
turning it on again?
our thing. Since I was the IT specialist at Bandersnatch, among other things. So Richard Iowati was in that. He's half Nigerian, half Norwegian, but he's a Brit. And he took over a show from Stephen Fry called Gadget Man. And these are all on Amazon. And Gadget Man brings out all these ridiculous gadgets and just talks about them. But this guy, Iowati, is so funny. And then he started another one called Travel.
Wait, are you
Man.
trying to say that Jono is funny, Alan?
No, this is Richard Iowati, not John.
Oh,
Okay.
Well, you were comparing him to Jono, so I was concerned.
No,
Who's bringing
I think
in
he's
reference to?
No. So we're
I
getting
wasn't even concerned. I was upset.
so Travel Man. They take trips from London and just travel 2 to 4 hours by plane and wind up 48 hours in a certain place. He always has somebody with him as a guest. And the other night we saw a guy named Richard Moss, who's a British comedian. And in certain cuts, he looked so much like Jono, especially when a glass was up to his face.
Yeah. We both looked at each other and said, "This guy looks like Jono."
So, check out Richard
Interesting.
Moss.
Richard
How old
Watt.
is that?
I've got it up now, right?
Okay.
While we're doing recommendations too, you guys need to watch I Think You Should Leave on Netflix.
Was that a hint?
It's called I Think You Should Leave.
I think you should leave. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
It
Tim
is.
Robinson. He's
The
a
funniest thing
comedian,
I've
but
ever seen in my life.
He makes like 17-minute episodes and they're insane skits and nothing. It's just pure insanity from beginning
It's
to end.
sketch comedy.
Yeah.
And if you're okay with being uncomfortable,
It's like SNL on crack. Or
It is
sex.
so good.
And if we're uncomfortable,
Well, 17 minutes is pushing our limit, so that sounds great.
Yeah. The episodes are short. You can watch one a night right before you fall asleep at 6:30.
I wish my limit were 17 minutes. It's well before them.
You won't be able to
Yeah,
fall asleep
I've got
after
like a
watching that
3-minute
show. You'll be
limit.
laughing.
Yeah.
So you had a question about another Amazon show? Which
Alan, I just wanted to know what you think about the show coming out, or what your thoughts are. Are you excited?
Let's focus up and dive into
We are supposed to be a Wheel of Time show. Who gives a shit? But
it's more fun to just talk to you guys.
I agree. Oh, I'm not
We
cutting
should-
any of this. I would just like to know your thought. I'm genuinely interested.
So
we should
basically-
schedule
when-
regular calls.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
should.
Yeah.
Basically,
I like that idea.
with the Wheel of Time updates and things, what happens is I look at my Instagram and I say, "Oh, honey, look at this." I show him because he's like Mr. Social Network. No, and
I'm
he
with
doesn't
Alan.
keep up
Yeah.
with any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I have to show him. And I don't do Facebook anymore. I just do Instagram. So I'm stuck on what I see, and depending on his mood, he looks at it or not. But
So did that answer your question? No.
I mean, Amy answered for you, but what are your thoughts, Alan? Are you excited for a show?
Where are the strings?
we are excited.
Yeah, definitely excited about the show. We saw Rosamund in a movie the other night too.
Pique. Rosamund
with
Pique.
Simon Pegg. Ring a bell?
What movie?
We
It's
should do
called
another
Ring a Bell?
show.
Oh, no. It was End of the World. World's End.
No.
No,
No.
Was it Run Fat Boy Run?
No,
it was the what of happiness, the pursuit of happiness.
no, it's what was his name? Harold, not Harold.
Yeah, it's a weird name. Herman.
No.
Yeah.
Hector in the Search for Happiness.
Hector. That's it.
Hector and the Pursuit of Happiness. And
Is it
she
any
played
good?
this-
I've never seen it. Never heard of it.
It's cute. It's funny.
And
That's the first
Ringing
time.
endorsement.
This is the first time Amy ever saw Rosamund act
since knowing Rosamund was going to be,
in the show.
Yeah, I don't really recall her. She didn't stand out to me before necessarily because I didn't watch a lot of stuff.
We did see Madame Curie, and that was.
Oh, I didn't watch that.
That was so.
But this
it's not her fault. It's
She was in a really good Netflix movie, I think, with.
The recent one, we haven't seen that one yet.
I care a lot. I care a lot.
I care a lot. Yeah.
She's
that was
very
really good.
like aloof, bitchy in a good way, and I care.
It was kind of fantastic. She did a good job in that.
That's about King Arthur and the round.
That's correct.
Yeah, Care-a-Lot, yeah.
But it's the female version. It's about Queen Arthura.
That's it.
So this was the
Alan,
first
why didn't you get invited to go to Prague with Maria and Harriet?
Because he didn't work for her anymore. He was retired.
It doesn't matter.
They were probably afraid I'd find a beer hall and never come up. It's
He was still drinking
best
that.
beer in the world in Prague. You know, we were talking to the taxi driver coming in. My son and I went there years ago, and the guy was telling us, the reason people drink so much beer in Czech Republic, and it is the greatest amount per capita in the world.
Good people.
When kids are teething as babies, they start rubbing beer on the gums.
Yeah.
And it kind of never
For me,
stopped
it was whiskey.
after that. It was whiskey. Yeah. But it's
why I'm an alcoholic.
What?
That could be. That could be.
No, for me, it was cocaine.
They rubbed cocaine on your.
They dialed it down when the second child came along. They fucked Tom up real good.
Yeah. After me, they were like, "Well, that didn't work at all. Let's try something else."
It was the softer. For the brother, it was like the third brother that no one sees anymore because he's locked in the basement. It was just honey.
Yeah, they just just threw bottles of honey down the basement stairs.
Very nice disposition.
Deal with it.
Anyway, so go on, Alan, before we all interrupt him more. Let's interrupt him.
The show. Yeah, looking forward to it. I think. I'm pretty amazed at some of the Wheel of Time fans who seem to not understand that. It's okay to have different races in this. Just because
that was disturbing.
We're doing race. We're
doing race. Yeah. You
or
see
rather the lack of understanding
mind.
about race, Tom.
Yeah. It's like watching or hearing somebody on a radio for years and then suddenly seeing their picture.
It's very upsetting.
They're all fucked up. They don't look like that. Well, sorry, that's the real person. But the whole thing, this is old territory, I'm sure. But the idea that this is a multi-country, multi-ethnic, multi-racial world, there's going to be a lot of hybridization. There's going to be a lot of mixing of the races. So get over it. This thing is going to either fall or stand based on the quality of the writing and the quality of the acting. And
I agree.
It seems to be in good hands right now. So we'll see
at
what
the
happens.
end of the day, we know they have like a really good budget, and we know that the special effects are going to be good. So you're right. I feel like at the end of the day, it falls on the writing and the acting. It's not about because we know it's going to look pretty in terms of special effects and stuff, just based on their budget alone. We just know it's going to look good.
Not wide enough.
What it's going to. But I think Alan, you're right. I think what it comes down to at the end of the day is just is the writing good? Is the acting good? That's what's going to make the show.
And are there gingers in the?
And are there?
Oh
any
my
gingers?
God! No.
We need one to start. That's it. One.
Well, the millisecond the Aiel are involved, if there isn't a giant race of gingers pouring over the dragon wall, I'm going to be very upset.
Fuck this. Fuck you. Fuck all this. I'm fucking done.
It is very nice to have one of the editors from the Wheel of Time on to tell the racists to fuck off.
That's not a direct quote. I was taken out of context. I'm sorry.
That's what I heard.
That's good enough. But I think my favorite point was like, you know, like when they first started like doing the casting for like the Two Rivers and all that, they were mostly kind of like mixed race, that kind of like Hispanic or like African American people. And I was like, all right, cool. You know what? Because there was a quote showing that it was, I forget what it was, but they were kind of like, what was the quote? Like, but they're kind of like root kind of brown people. And I was just like, well,
that was specifically Senbui. He was described as a dark, gnarled old root.
And I was just like, all right. And now I'm upset if anyone is different besides Rand. Like
the thing that made me laugh is like after they cast all the like the people of color in certain roles like Perrin and Nynaeve and everything, they made Senbui super white old man. And I was like, and I was like, come on.
This is a place built on, you know, literally generations.
He's supposed to be a dark, gnarled old root.
Generations of never fucking leaving there. Make them all like that. Like, that's fucking amazing. That's the way they should look. Again, other than Rand, because whoopsies.
Well, because he's not from there.
What? I mean, spoiler.
No,
spoiler for the show, guys. Rand's not from the Two Rivers.
Spoiling a TV show that hasn't even come out yet.
I'll be honest. I was very surprised to hear that it was coming out in November. Like, that seemed about 4 months earlier than I expected. Was it November or October?
November.
Yeah.
November.
We've been waiting for this for 3 years, since before your wedding, Jono.
I'm aware, because I assumed that was a sham too, the wedding. But I kind of expected it. I expected the show to come out early next year, really, like just to kind of, and then kind of like on the heels of it, a second season.
Fully
not far
expecting
off.
it this year. That's really strange.
I was submitting questions to a Q&A with the showrunner from our Twitter account while I was getting fitted for the suit for your wedding.
In 2018.
Thank you, by the way, for being in my wedding.
2021 feels like it should happen by now.
Thank you for being in my wedding.
No,
Thank
speaking
you
of
for
the
not
show,
being
You're welcome.
I think speaking of the showrunner, I think he's doing a great job.
I think so too.
I mean, on this, from what we can see, yes, I agree.
Yeah, but I also think that he is making a supreme effort to engage with all of these gnarly and nutty fans.
Yeah.
Just, you know, he's really doing a good job to he may not be telling us everything, which he doesn't have to do. He doesn't
Actually,
have to
he
tell
does.
anything.
Because there is a lot of fucking crazy ass fans out there.
Yeah.
They don't have
And
to
we're not three of them.
They don't have to do anything they're doing.
Exactly.
And they're doing a lot, and people are complaining that it's not enough. It's wild.
I think we've gotten so much more than many other shows of this type would have gotten. And I really think it's because he's a decent person, and he also loves the series, and he knows what it's like to love the series, and that people are passionate about it. So I think
Alan, what are your thoughts? You had the most stoic face I've seen since we had sex.
I was wondering if I had any clean underwear, actually. You know, we just moved into this house, and it's
Amy's talking about the show, and Alan's just zoning out, going like, "Do I have any clean underwear? What's my laundry situation? Is the dryer working?"
Well, we'll figure that out. That's neither here nor there. Actually, it's there, but
it is there. Yeah. Your left shoulder.
I had a major
downstairs.
Downstairs is where the dryer is.
The dryer.
I had a major revelation that I've never had before in my life watching Joe talk. It was for the first time in my life. It was Joe looks like Violet. Not that
weird.
Violet like Joe. It's that Joe looks like Violet.
Yeah,
I guess so. We can put that milkman theory to rest.
Yeah.
Right.
No one looks like Lauren.
All the other times it's been, oh wow, you know, look, she's got an expression like Joe, or she's looking like Joe, or this or that. And you just did something there that reminded me of Violet. It was so funny. I thought
it was probably when he peed himself.
I did wet my diaper.
Oh no. That's how you get through these long tWoTcasts. podcast.
That's exactly what I do.
Yeah.
Just go, man. You know?
It's been
You just
30
go.
minutes. I had
Next
actually
question.
made a important question.
Oh,
What was it? I already forgot it.
John,
There's no way it was
your
important.
question.
Yeah. So what did you think, Alan, about my important question?
God damn it. You're the fucking worst.
I was just thinking about my
That
sock.
stays in.
Perfect.
I think
Go
I'll
on.
go
No.
run a little laundry.
Go on.
I'm going to need them tomorrow.
Socks?
Yeah.
You've run
Yeah.
through that many?
Underwear. It's important.
You don't need underwear. You go commando
I was just going to
Yeah.
say, thank
Yeah.
you.
and then do doggy style.
Well, that's a bad combination, actually. What's
Going
just
commando and going doggy style? Oh, that's actually not. It's not. It's fine.
Wait, yeah, I was gonna wait a minute. You don't wear underwear when you're doing doggy style. That doesn't work.
Drool out on the carpet is what Joe told me.
Yeah, just dribble it out on the carpet. It's fine.
Well, what do you guys do? I mean, we're all as fans of the Wheel of Time. We're all interested in lawn. I think.
Never
Oh
said it again.
no,
Lan or
no.
lawn? Lan
There
or
you go.
lawn?
Land.
Land.
I
Yeah,
say-
land.
Lan.
What did you
Okay.
say when you were working?
I
When you
say
were working
lamb.
on the book? What
Oh,
did you
thank
say?
God.
No, that's lamb.
Lamb.
My heart froze for a second because Amy started to speak and then didn't finish. And I was like, do you say lawn? And you're like, I say land. I was like, oh, thank fuck.
I had to actually resuscitate Joe.
Sexually, is this?
All right. So
We should
Since-
cancel the podcast.
It's okay.
Freak.
She said land, Tom. She said land.
Okay.
as fans, land fans,
Yeah.
Land.
if I can use that term, we're all affected by his discipline, and
Mm-hmm.
and he was so much Robert Jordan in a lot of respects. In fact, I think in some interviews, Jim said something about Land being one of his main persona, and so what I've taken out of that is Tai Chi discipline, Qigong. Amy has taken yoga. I'm just interested in what you three have derived from that.
I briefly grew a top knot. I had actually Joe technically did too.
Actually,
Joe used to wear top knot at soccer. So years ago, Joe had fairly long.
So
hair.
so my discipline from Land is just that I grew my hair really long and put it in a top knot.
I grew my hair
Land
even
didn't wear a
longer.
top knot. I should have pulled it back with a leather cord.
That's true. I grew my hair back and
Okay.
hold it back with a what is it, Kassane?
Kasira?
Yeah,
Kassane?
I don't know.
I don't know. I feel
It's
like
pretty bad that we don't know this.
Oh,
look, none of us have read these books or edited them. It doesn't matter.
No.
Let's edit this to make sure it's right. It will be a hairnet. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the spiritual depths of this man, what you got out of it was to put your hair in a top knot.
I think. I mean, in a serious answer,
Kind of a Shinari, but
I
yeah.
think the closest thing I have to that is discipline in painting and drawing.
Oh, wow.
I would say for me, like, yes, kind
That's
of
the closest
selflessness
simulation.
and protection for your partner.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's huge.
That's what I took away from it for sure. I get that
Me and
from
Tom, like me and Tom used to joke about this for our entire
And
lives, but like where we learned our morals from was comic book. Like I'm a good man because I read Superman and Batman. Like as a joke, like we kind of joke about it, but like it's not true, But like I think a lot of Land's character comes out in us in that way, just like
I would
loyalty
say-
and devotion to like a person or the people we love. And
I would say a ton of my morality, motorcycles, comes from comics, and then I think from Land and Rand and Perrin even, not so much that.
Yep. We're only looking for land.
Yeah, but see, Lan, I didn't relate to Lan as a I mean, I admired Lan, and he was one of my favorite characters. And I actually stopped reading The Wheel of Time the first time through because Moraine was gone. Lan was off his rocker for a little bit there. And they were like the characters that I was really interested in. And so I stopped reading the books and didn't pick them up for like 10 years. But the character that I relate to the most is Cadsuane.
Because she knows, and she's got hair similar to yours that's kind of brown with a little hint of gray.
Well, we're both.
You say fall all the time.
And so my husband has to be very nice to me. So
I see.
He sends me the funniest emails, though.
He does send funny emails.
I mean, never mind. Nothing about you.
Yeah, he sends funny emails. He's a funny man. And I'll fix the tea in the morning.
So I what's funny about like to me is like Joe actually just sent me like a quick just kind of like Lan question because my answer was shit as usual. I never really found Lan to be something. Yes, absolutely. Between that beer, someone that I kind of like identified with other than like his stoicism and his kind of like, I appreciate like he's like a silent husband kind of factor, right? Just kind of there to support what the fuck is happening. But if you really look deeper, he's actually everywhere. He's ubiquitous as far as his importance, that kind of thing. And I find that, now that I'm married to some fucking horrible bitch, and I love my wife very much. What are you doing? But like, I do find that actually a little more kind of like, I honestly, and my wife will tell you that I'm the biggest dick in the world, as you all know, but I find that kind of role actually fascinating because you're there as the silent partner, but all of a sudden, like night comes, we all go in the tent, and instead of, we're not just fucking here, but I'm actually giving you like advice. I'm here to tell you what to do. I'm here to tell you like, kind of like I'm there as support. And like, I feel like that's something that is very rarely appreciated, is that quiet support. You beat the steadfast column of like, I'm Moraine here, the Aes Sedai, like I'm here and just give you the truth. And then as soon as we all like duck out, we need to have a conference because I don't know what the fuck I just said. Like that's the type of thing that like Lan really offers. And it works great in the show. And actually, if you could see me half drunk talking to Joe, he just walked away. That's the type of things that I do for him too. Like when he and Lauren are having marital troubles, it's going to be really funny because Joe walked out. So it's just me talking right now. But like when he's having marital troubles, he can't get it up. Like I'm here to like lube up a couple fingers. Tom knows what I'm talking about. Like we've all done it. We've all helped Joe get hard, maybe put a finger or two in his own ass. Again, and now here comes Joe. Hey, Joe, great news.
This is off the rails.
When you listen to this part of the podcast, you're going to laugh your ass off because it's not at all relevant to the point.
You're actually making a pretty nice point, and then you just went insane.
Oh, as soon as Joe walked out, I went in.
Just went limp.
Yeah.
But
is that a Boddington?
Sounds about right.
Oh, did you have the earbud in the whole time?
Yeah.
God damn it.
He literally always does. For
God
the last
damn it. It's much funnier if Joe just turns it on for the first time. It's like, what is the deal with that?
What's the deal?
All right, well,
he's not going to remember anyway. He always laughs.
Yeah.
That looks like a
I'm going to
Boddington.
get really drunk. I'm not going to remember. And then I'm going to edit this and be like, oh.
Anyway, let me start off real quickly before Joe interrupts me because he's kind of. I'm so glad you guys are fucking on this.
Wait, why are you? Wait, don't do that.
Yeah, I'm just fucking happy. Just enjoying it. Fuck off, Joe.
Good.
I love you guys.
It's horrible.
Anyway, next.
Love you.
What's the next subject?
Honestly, seriously though, thank you so much for calling in for fun.
Yeah,
it was fun.
Yeah.
They're like, well, we haven't had fun, but next up.
Are you kicking them off the show?
Fuck
no, not at all.
Fuck no. They're staying right
This is
here.
a nice way of saying get off.
I was going to, yeah.
You
not
can't,
at all.
I would love to watch you guys get off. She's already clearly got her hand down his pants.
You know what it is? It's let's allow them to leave if they want to.
No, it's not.
Then chat.
Look at that smile on Amy's face. Amy is clearly got.
Amy is giving Alan a handy right now.
Yeah, Amy's jerking him off.
You guys are
Alan's jerking his own ear off.
So you're going to bring Shanda up to speed, Jono, on Rupert Grint?
Oh yeah, I missed an email chain that we had talked about, he and I, about Uncle George. I had read her some of the Rupert Grint stuff because she really, like, Shannon and I fucking loved the show at the same time being just like baffled by it.
Yeah,
we still are. We finished it last night.
Yeah, and
also our BAC was mid twos. But anyway, I've got an email chain about George and some things that Alan may have known about the individual,
like the actor.
Yeah.
in person. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a sexual thing.
I'm a big fan of Rupert Grint, so
I know.
Well, were you disappointed that Rupert wasn't cast as Rand?
no, because that didn't make sense.
Yes, it did. He's red. He's red hair.
It doesn't, but.
What if they made Padden Fane a ginger? Would that work?
He would have been like, he's so weirdly dark.
Who was it recently that I said would be a really good?
I actually really like the guy that they cast as Padden Fane.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I saw pictures of him, and then I saw like a certain, like he just had like a little bit of like crazy in his smile, and I was like, perfect. That's all you need. It's like a little bit of like,
I need to be unsure about your mental stability.
A little insane, and I like it.
Shanda's on the podcast.
And the rag.
Oh, no.
This is weird, actually.
We just need you, Shanda.
Right now.
Shanda, just once we need you to go. Perfect.
I'll just edit all of Shanda's actual words out with
With that.
with like weird balloon sounds.
We've done that 10,000 times.
Is it a whale? We don't know. Could be a blow up dog. Could be a whale.
Everybody stop talking. I just want to see how long she keeps going.
Joe, do you have a name for your new baby yet?
Well, his name is Grayson. We don't know his middle name.
Okay. Definitely Grayson.
Yeah, it's definitely.
What if you did Grayson Dick?
Grayson.
Long Grayson Dick.
It's the reverse of Robin.
Long Grayson Dick.
I don't know. So Lauren said Knight a long time ago. We might do that.
Grayson Richard is not a bad name at all.
Grayson Knight sounds.
We're
like a
Irish,
sex
Tom.
thing.
Richard is so English. That's the worst thing you could ever do.
It can't be Grayson. Grayson Knight sounds like a porn. Like you don't want that. Like just.
Or am I doing him a favor?
Wait, what is that? Wait, what is that porn about? Grayson Knight. What does that even?
No, it's just a porn.
Sound like a porn.
Grayson Knight sounds like long greasy dick. Like it sounds like what Paul Rudd was saying. With that long greasy dick. Like that just doesn't really.
Well, which spelling of night? N-I-G-H-T or
N-I-G-H-T? Not K-N-N-I.
Oh, K-N-I.
What if it was Grayson M. Knight?
Ooh, channel on.
Like our favorite director.
Wait, that's his middle name. See, that perfect middle. That's a good middle name.
In fairness, all right, I'm back on board. It's 100% Grayson M. Knight.
He really is one of my favorite directors. Like I love Unbreakable in the stupidest way.
I can't watch The Village without being kind of fascinated, even though I know it's not going to be what I wanted.
I really like The Village too. Yeah, I thought the ending was kind of obvious, but I still really enjoyed that as well.
Yeah, if that's what this show ends up being, like, it's fine. Fuck it. They're all in.
Did you guys see Glass?
Yeah. Oh, Glockter asks. Yes.
And then, of course, what was the one that was in between Unbreakable and Glass? Like,
Split.
Yeah, man, that was awesome. I couldn't believe it. I had no idea at the end of Split, like that they were going to tease a sequel to Unbreakable. I fucking lost my mind.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
Well, I think that's
also the initial plan for Unbreakable was like that entire movie was like act one of something that he had planned. Like the plan was like this happens, and then there's a little chunk, and then he's an actual superhero by the end, and then they just let the act one is way more interesting. Let's just make a whole movie about that. And I was always like, but there's so much more. He could be like an actual superhero. And like,
what is the deal with that?
I mean, he kind of was. I want more.
Well, I mean, Glass kind of summed that up in a nice way.
Yeah, he did a little bit of Batman ish stuff there in the beginning of that movie.
Yeah.
A little bit of Batman all night long.
Yeah. A little bit. Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Are you doing Mama number 2?
No, Mama number 3.
That's good. There's no mention of Batman in Mama number 5.
You're not leaning forward.
Well, we probably ought to get.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought so.
Well, first off, I would like to thank you, and I would like to apologize to you at the same time for A, thank you for being here, and B, I'm sorry you guys, A, didn't have anything better to do, and then still had to be on this. You deserve better.
That sums it up pretty well.
You deserve better.
Always nice to talk to you guys.
We do.
We love you.
Yeah. Well, look, thanks for having us on. It's been a lark, and better than watching reruns of
Servant.
Yeah.
Alan, again, thanks for coming on. And also Amy, thanks for actually being recorded on voice to be on our podcast for once. I promise I'll edit all that horrible things that you set out.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll just be the good parts.
And secondly,
that's your opinion of what's good.
We will
That's
be
kinda
adding back in, Amy, we will be adding back in that video, which obviously was a wonderful video, and you're very strong. And I love the fact that you can keep yourself so stable
in the dog position.
Yeah, in that just downward dog.
Yeah,
it's doggy style. Alan said it 30 times.
That's child's pose, baby.
Play your cards right. But honestly, I think it's fascinating how much you're just willing to just kind of sit there and wait. And Jesus,
it's a lesson from Lamb.
Yeah.
Incredible patience.
The lessons from Cad Swain.
Yeah.
It's
just,
incredible patience is a lesson from Cad Swain. I agree.
Yeah.
Just
all right. Thanks so much for being on, guys.
Yeah.
And thanks for being play your cards right. Thanks for being off.
We should do this without the podcast sometime.
For sure. Yeah.
Fuck yes.
So what?
This should just be the podcast every week.
I can kick you out if you want. Do you want me to kick you out, guys?
Yeah,
I know how to do it.
I'll do it. I can do it right now. Goodbye.
Up there. There's leave. Bye.
Good night, Kevin.
That was hilarious.
That was amazing.
That was awesome. I'm so glad they called. Also, it was so funny when they first initially called because it was just Amy popping on, and we're like, "Is it Amy?" No. I mean, it just said Amy. It didn't say Amy and Alan. Like it just said Amy. So I was like, "Amy's calling," but
Amy and Ramen Show.
It was good. It was funny. I liked it. Let's refocus back on what we were talking about when they interrupted us. This was Jordan Con, but
wait, we're going back to Jordan Con.
Well, we really need to. Look, we can let's finish it up. You're right, Tom. Your thoughts?
I wasn't there.
Tom has none. He wasn't there. I don't. So again, it was a weird Jordan Con. It was cool. I mean, I feel like we said all this, but I'm going to say it again because I'm drunk and I need to reiterate to get us back on page. But like, we didn't have a live show. We're kind of trying to talk about it now, and it was still fun. I really enjoyed the lobby vibe because like after the show shut down or the convention thing.
Yeah, technically the convention ended at 8.
The convention shut down at like 7 p.m. and then it was like, that's dinner break, quote unquote, which is usually when our show would take place after that. And everyone was just in the fucking lobby because there was nothing to do. And it was really fucking fun because it was just everyone's in the same area hanging out and having a good time. And I was like, this is my jam. This is all I do every time we're here. I don't like going to panels and I don't like doing anything other than just enjoying chatting with random strangers about the Wheel of Time. And it was kind of like really conducive to that in a weird, strange way.
So first off, I will ask you this. Do you know the difference between jam
and jelly?
I'm sorry.
And
that's it.
Oh, marmalade.
Oh, you said jam, and it just instantly my mind went to. Do you know the difference?
But seriously, it was a weird convention. It was capped at 500, which was not even that small for Jordan Con because it gets to like 800 at the most anyway. But like, or actually, I think it's come close to 1,000 a couple of times. But like, it's a smaller convention, but at the same time, capped at a 500. Strange.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there was also like 100+ new people there.
Yeah. So obviously, there's three things that I'd like to say. One, I can't jam my dick down or marmalade my dick down your throat is number one. And that's your own fault for saying that. Number two, I think it's one of the coolest conventions there is. And I say that because I've been to very few, but at the same time, like it's wonderfully, kind of like, help me out. I'm drunk.
Intimate.
Bringing people in. Thank you.
It is intimate. There's everyone there that when you meet a stranger is just so into the one thing that you're there for, which is such a small niche community.
Yeah.
That you're immediately friends with them.
You're
and you can
100%.
kind of like meet
our buddy Dustin. We met this dude, Dustin.
Yeah.
Nicest guy in the world. I hope he's listening to this. We love you, Dustin.
Seriously, we just
Dustin
met a complete
had
stranger.
never been to anything.
Yeah.
Was a very
had a great
introverted.
time hanging out with him and his weird friends. I don't remember.
Let me ask you guys, did you meet new people this year?
Yeah.
Oh, goddamn.
Dustin was one of them.
And that's what, like, one of the things Joe was going to say is there apparently, according to the numbers we heard, 25%, literally 100 out of, or 20%, excuse my numbers, 100 out of 500.
Study your math.
Study my math. Sorry, Tom. We're brand new to this convention that had never been rung in before. So
I was just curious because
fucking people.
We have so many long time friends from the early days, like P-Mins and Bill. So I just wondered if you guys were.
They're also there.
So they are, but like Sacco wasn't there. For
There's a Sacco beer.
Yeah, Sacco ran into some Russian government issues.
What? What about Ball Shear? Was he there?
No,
but I fucking wish. I would send his dick pics out.
But there was a lot of returning people that were fun to see again.
But there was
also a weird chunk that was brand new.
A 20% new fandom. And like, this isn't like there are concerns and I get it, but at the same time, like, let's just embrace it. Obviously the show comes out in a couple months, 3 months, and next year's Jordan Con may look radically different. Let's all hope that, we just love each other, appreciate each other. Maybe we fuck each other.
I think next year is going to be different.
Joe and I are going to fuck each other.
That's probably going to.
Obviously. I try to keep my personal Twitter account kind of separate from the Wheel of Time stuff. Yeah. And it's starting to bleed in a little bit, but like I've always followed and been followed by P-Mins for like the last 8 years. And every fucking time Jordan Con's coming up and I can't go, like it's like a Wednesday at like 8 p.m. and he's just like, get on the plane, going to Jordan Con. And that's the thing that makes me miss it the most every time.
It's just
him getting ready to go early.
P-Mins is probably listening to this. We love you, P-Mins.
Yeah. Like there's so many just awesome fucking people at Jordan Con. And like, I don't like, obviously there's a bit concerns of like what the fuck's going to happen next year when he's a Dutch speaker thing. I think it's going to be fucking fine. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be, different. Yes. But at the same time, it's the people there. The newcomers are going to be embraced by the culture. They're not going to change the culture. They'll be appreciated by and just kind of brought into it. And I'm fucking excited about it. And what else they bring? Maybe they bring new liquor. So I'm excited for that too.
I'm very excited for new casual fans. Do you think they'll show up?
I don't think you're gonna be a casual fan though. Like if the show comes out in November,
TV
and there's
fans.
a con.
I don't know what else to call them.
Yeah. So a lot of that was a weird topic of discussion at Jordan Con. Like there was a lot of people talking about like what is it going to look like next year, and like is it going to be weird? Is there going to be people that are just fans of the show versus fans of the books? How dare they? I'm fucking kidding. And will those categories of people be able to like meet? And
it's
gonna be just just meld. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
If you hypothetically had not read the books and then you saw the first season of the show, would this be a convention you were interested in going to?
Fuck yes.
It seems like basically you're walking into a spoiler tornado.
Oh, it's tornado.
That's also true.
And do you want that?
That's also true.
No, that's also. This is our song.
Why is that happening?
No, we came to kick some ass. We're probably gonna rock the fucking house.
We're gonna kick some ass. Fucking kick some ass. And
we're the worst hosts. All we do is just get on musical diatribes. Joe, edit this. Don't edit this.
I won't.
Hey, we're not here. We're not here tonight.
No,
to have a focus show. We're here to be all over the place and make Joe's job. really hard.
Yeah, but in reality, like it is kind of one of those things where it's like, I'm fucked up. It's going to be interesting.
We all know.
Like a co-host just saying I'm fucked up.
God damn it, John.
Go on. No, I'm listening. You didn't have
Hey,
to
for
stop.
the viewers, Jono is literally dancing in the background behind Joe while Joe has his head in his hands.
Tom, the
and it's
viewers
just
know.
Fucking sad.
The viewers know.
Well, I just want to make sure the viewers can see it. They might be looking in a different direction.
Clink. But anyway, go on, Joe.
But seriously, so that was like a note of talk. That was a discussion point on the entire weekend. It was just like, what's JordanCon going to be like when all the show fans invade, quote unquote, JordanCon? And I'm like, it's going to be fucking fun. That's it. Like, I don't understand what everyone's concerned. Like, everyone seems concerned. Like, it's not going to be.
It's an interesting question.
Yeah. Oh no. What if it became like DragonCon? Oh no. What would that be?
That'd be awesome.
It's
and
the
you know
most
what?
fun. DragonCon's the most fun thing in the world.
DragonCon is the most fun thing in the world, and there's like 80,000 people that go. And here's the point: at the core of that is going to be those original JordanCon people that have just been there for the whole time, and they all know each other.
Oh
it's
no!
Be this weird...
Now you're starting about talking about cliques.
Oh, we're the cool kids table? No, that's ridiculous. I'm just saying, like, we've known each other for years, so we're going to know each other. That bond isn't going to erase, which is what they're worried about. Is my point.
I mean, but I get their question though, right? I mean, like honestly, like
we'll embrace new people, and we'll still have that same bond.
JordanCon more than even DragonCon. Like
also,
obviously,
guys,
all conventions are kind of based around like introverts and kind of like that kind of like, well, not necessarily introverts, but based around that kind of like convention mentality, right? Like that you like sci-fi, fantasy,
right? Yeah.
But JordanCon does seem to be. There's a larger percentage of introverts who are just kind of like, well, this is my first time really being appreciated for what the fuck I am. And I think it's one of the most beautiful fucking things about it. I'm a huge dick. I get that. I make a joke about everything, but I honestly think it's fucking amazing for these people that this is sometimes their time to really shine. Yeah. And that's fucking incredible. I'm happy for them. But,
so that's the thing we might be worried that's going away. Possibly.
I get that concern, but
it changes, it will be for the better, which I think is the thing.
I don't know if it'll be for the better, but I think the change will be kind of like almost funneled through the already existing people.
Yeah.
So therefore,
I think the concern is like over the years we've met a lot of people that are introverts, and the convention's so small that we've become friends with a lot of them, and that if it gets too big, like how are we even going to find them? You know what I mean? Like,
I get their concern, but honestly, like Tom, you've been there for the first like 7-8 years or so, but like lately it's still gotten larger, even though the last 2 years excepted. But those people who were very introverted, honestly, still found their voice, still found the fact that like they
still found new friends.
Yeah,
debatable. I mean, we had a whole Twitter thing about it. It's kind of debatable. And anyway,
that was a Twitter time poll, Tom.
If you guys want to hear us verbally shit post about the Cool Kids Couch, that's going to happen on our Patreon right after we're done with this episode.
Ouch!
Let's focus
Go to the
up.
Lobby.
Let's focus up. I want to talk about So what I want to talk about is the actual show. We haven't had time to ever talk about it on our actual fucking podcast. Let's talk about the poster. And let's talk about the show that's about to come out. And I want to hear our thoughts collectively, because we've been texting about it and stuff, and like, but we never put our thoughts on the podcast. Like, the show's coming out in November. We have a poster. Like, we have things to discuss, and I'd like to discuss it.
Who wants to start?
I think you want to start because you're Tom.
Should I just start? What is she standing? All right. What is she standing? That was given away by the audio, right? For the blind. Like, I can't remember what it's called.
No, it wasn't the audio. It was the
visual for the blind.
It was the fucking audio. It was the description in the code of the website.
Yeah, which is what that's what posts.
Yeah, if you clicked on an image and it was like, this is what is in the image, it would be like blah blah blah.
That's what Tom was saying.
Waygate. Yeah, you're right.
It's a gate.
So it was a Waygate
metadata,
which was I don't know if we. All right, so people were complaining about that, I guess, because they like the moving wall and the leaf and the shining thing. But we definitely didn't get the shining wall. But
we also don't know what we're at.
Well, let's let him finish because sorry, I want to trash this. Go on.
The doors to the waygate could have already been open.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Or they could have just used that as a placeholder word for her sending in a portal. I don't even understand
Agreed.
what I called anything.
So the fact that they called it Waygate doesn't necessarily mean it's a Waygate. It could just mean that's the word that someone told whoever the fuck typed the fucking metadata into the goddamn image.
Yeah.
It could just be a word that was said out loud that somebody was like, done. I'm typing.
Personally, I expect a waygate to be shorter and wider, like a garage door, not tall and.
I love the garage door.
I get what you're saying. That's actually what I envision in my mind. So I get what you're saying. So here's the thing: if it is a waygate, I'm not upset about it. Number one, everyone's like, if that's a waygate, I'm mad. I'm like, I'm not mad. They're changing. They're changing stuff.
I mean, that's
not your time, Turn. Not your.
Seems like an unnecessary change.
I make jokes.
Again, it seems like a necessary change. However, so this is what I'm thinking. And this is, again, based on the fact that this is an actual waygate. This is kind of what I'm thinking. They're probably combining waygates and portal stones into one thing instead of making it two separate things. And the only reason I say that is because there's been a lot of talk about them like combining season 1 into season 2, weaves notwithstanding, as Jono was referencing. But like,
we'll get there.
It seemed, we'll get there, Jono. But it seems like perhaps that they're trying to meld those two traveling things into one thing in the early seasons, which is logical for a show. I'm not upset about it. I don't love it. I don't hate it. Like it's something that they're changing for the show. And if that's the case, if that's what they're doing, I get it. It makes a lot of sense to combine two things that are sort of separate into the same idea to get across the same ideas in a shorter amount of time, which we need to do in a show.
I get that, but jumping really quickly to what Jono was drunkenly pointing at was the channeling to the bottom corner that looks like she's creating the waygate. Assuming channeling.
Yes. Honestly, it looks like a lot of loose,
that's what I was like, is that the back of somebody's head? But are they merging waygates, portal stones, and traveling into one thing? She's assembling it with the power. I don't know.
That's interesting that you say assembling, because when I see the power touching the edge of that gate, I think disintegrating and not assembling. But it could easily be the other way around.
Yeah, we could be looking.
Why? I don't understand. Why would she be disintegrating it?
I don't think she's doing that at all. I think this is just a poster, and I think they're just saying, here's what weaves look like. Let's make it magical and make shit ripping it apart. And like, I really think it's just the marketing department going like, hey, let's throw a bunch of elements from the show into one image and make it make sense and make it look intriguing and blah, blah, blah. I don't think we're going to see this scene in the show. I don't think
if we're going down that road, then we're just basically like,
we can still pick apart what they have shown us.
We're all thinking about this too hard and like, let's just let it be.
Agreed. 100%.
But we can't just let it be until we see the show because we're trying to do a goddamn podcast show.
Right. So that's my point. No, so everyone is ripping this image apart too much. And here's my point, that it's not necessarily representative of something that is going to happen in the show. It's definitely not a scene from the show. I would be mind blown if this was a scene from the fucking show. Let's put it that way.
I hope it is.
So the weaves that we're seeing, the weaves that we're seeing, I would say is just them saying, hey, here's like a little hint, a little tidbit of like what weaving the one power might look like in the show. And let's toss it into this image that doesn't really correlate to what we're trying to show you. They're trying to show us multiple aspects of the show in one single picture. And I don't think it necessarily connects.
I still think it's somebody's hair.
It's probably just someone's hair. You know what I mean? It's probably Leandrin's hair.
But their hair is infused with the one power. Or maybe the
what
true
if it was someone's hair who was actually trying to go through a portal stone and she's just in the background? Like,
Moraine is just like, I'm gonna walk through this portal stone. And somebody else is like, well, I'm going to infuse my hair with the power and whip my hair at that portal stone and disintegrate it. That's probably what happened in the show.
I mean, just based on the fact that it's disintegrating, people have said, like, is it the black wind? I'm like, no, you dummies, it's fucking weaving.
I truly don't think I don't think it's disintegrating. I think it's built.
Here's what I think the weaving part of this image is. I feel like it's the Amazon marketing team going, let's just show these idiots what weaving looks like. End of story. I feel like reading into that is too much. Like, I think you're doing yourself a disservice by trying to be like, is it disintegrating? Is it assembling? I don't like none of that matters. They're just showing weaves. What, Tom?
I mean, a little bit. The marketing department's not taking this from like whole cloth and just like, oh, let's just do this. Like, there is substance to that. Just probably not as much as we're willing to give it, or we're trying to give it.
My expectation is that somehow this is when they get to Shinar, at the end of book 1. But at the same time, I really hope this is not what a Waygate looks like. This is not what channeling looks like. This is not what traveling. This is not what any of this looks like. It's just it's clearly supposed to be something, right? I mean, that's a useless answer.
It's definitely weaving.
It's supposed to be something, but
you don't want that weaving to look like that?
No, but that's actually a good point.
Hold on. Let's freeze frame on this, Jono.
Yeah.
What do you want weaving to look like?
I don't want it to look like hair at the bottom corner.
Well, it's not going to... come on, man.
No,
I'm just saying, what do you want it to look like flowing out of someone's hand, or like...
I want different colors.
It looks like a ball of yarn unspooling. I don't want that.
Yeah,
I
don't.
So there is a lot of chaos in that.
Right. You're asking me questions. All right. I don't want it to look like this. Honestly, I don't mind the idea that it's like it's a ball of yarn unspooling into something fucking creative and brilliant, like original. Fine. But what this is turning into, though, is apparently stonework. And I don't think that that's right. I don't think that this is what channeling or traveling looks like. I don't think this is what a Waygate should look like.
All right. Separate
the ideas, right?
Separate your idea of like, just look at the weaves themselves. Separate the idea that they're connected to what's going on in the picture.
They're too close to hair to me. I don't mind the idea.
Okay.
And the fact that they're, all right, let's leave the fucking stone pillars alone. I don't like,
No, this is good. I want to hear.
No, it's kind of it's an interesting idea as a context, right? Like there's a bunch of threads going on, but I don't think they create the right idea considering this is where they start and what they do.
Okay, so I think your disconnect is that maybe at the end of this quote unquote weave that we're seeing, it seems to be splintering.
Yeah.
So what you want is more like in the bottom left corner here where the weaves are kind of together.
Yeah.
That would be like something that you would want to visually
that looks more like a weave.
So the bottom left corner is like weaved to, it does look thin. It does look like threads or hair, like you guys keep joking about, but like it does, but in the bottom left corner, it looks like it's like a pattern, like it's like a piece of cloth being woven together. So like if you think of threads and you think of weaving and you think of the one power, like I think that's kind of what I'm envisioning in my mind.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
But if it culminates into like a point and it becomes a bar of light that is balefire.
I don't mind it personally. Tom?
I just realized my problem with it that while you guys were talking is that it looks like they have a ball of weaves ahead of time that they're picking threads out of to work with afterwards. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I don't disagree. That's why I'm saying I've got a problem with what happens at the bottom versus what happens in general.
Okay. Remove the ball and it's just this like the weird string looking things or whatever, which will look better when they're like animated and like probably glowing or whatever. Like I'm okay with that. Like I think that I didn't realize that was my issue, but like, it looks like,
I feel
hey,
like
I've got a big
what you're
ball of
trying to
weaves,
say,
and
I
I'm
think
going to
we
pull all
all
the
kind of
strings
agree.
out.
Yeah, I think what we agree on, and I think what we're all trying to say is, if the weaves are doing something, it makes more sense. And if they're just unraveling and like to make a pretty picture, I'm not into it. Is that no? Is that what you're thinking?
When you're done, yeah. No, but I don't disagree. Like the whole point, as Tom and you were saying, is it's got to build to something, right? Like, I mean, what's happening here looks like honestly, think about it, like from a book one point of view, right? There is only one spot where she walks into something like this, and that's got to be Moraine walking into Shinar after having we just watched. Honestly, I guess that technically could be the Black Wind, but that's not right, because there is no other time that she really walks through on the back end the ways, right? What are the ways used in the first book or two?
I mean, in the first book, let's just go with the first book. It's just into the ways and then getting to Shinar.
Camwin to Shinar. Book 2, she's not with, it's Varen, but she's not with him. But the idea would be from just a setting Sofu to wherever the fuck on the West Coast. So that's the only thing that really makes sense of where she would be. And it makes sense for it to be kind of, oh shit.
What do you guys think about the idea?
Hold on. You know what we didn't notice?
What?
The stairs.
Yeah, there's steps up to it.
Yeah, I know. But
hold on. What do you guys think about the idea that portal stones and waygates are combined into one thing?
I don't like the idea, but at the same time,
it either.
I think, what's that, Tom?
But I'm okay. But I don't like it, but I understand it.
Exactly. Like, you can't put all the knowledge into it. But if we say that that's true, which obviously makes more sense here, now we've got a bigger issue on our hand of when and where this is. And also, I want to jerk off Joe's penis.
I would prefer if they never mentioned portal stones at all and just used waygates and travel. Because portal stones ultimately were kind of stupid and they went away real fast.
Yeah, I agree. And also the ways is way more fascinating as a thing.
Except for the flickers.
It's
the portal stones are interdimensional travel. I mean, that's where the ogre came from, presumably. And
yep.
Hey, Tom, I'm gonna pause your thoughts there. We're going to talk to our good friend P. Mins.
From
holy
fucking
shit.
Jordan Con, bro.
All right, so we're going to talk about Jordan Con again, and then
we can talk about this poster. We can keep doing what we're doing.
Let's keep going. We're good to go. Mr. Patrick Mins.
Hello.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hey, Patty.
Oh, look at the shirts.
Yeah, I am actually wearing a Wheel of Time shirt.
No, you're actually wearing a Jordan Con shirt.
Is that by design or accident?
Actually, I guess it's
he literally, I didn't even know he was calling me.
I love P-Mins. Let me tell you something. Yeah. We were talking about Jordan Con. We were discussing things with Alan and Amy, and the one thing that Tom said is like, well, wait, because I wasn't at Jordan Con. What? But at least was P-Mins there? And we're like, oh, of course. Like, come on, don't be ridiculous. Hey, Patrick, how you doing, buddy?
Good. We're getting moved. We're all getting settled into the new house in Maine.
Oh, yeah. How's that going?
Where'd you move in Maine?
When did I move to Maine?
Where
Jordan Con.
Oh, I follow you on Twitter, P-Mins. I know when you moved to Maine. Where did you move in Maine? I forget.
Ellsworth.
P-Mins, we're talking about the poster for the tWoT on Prime, and I want to hear your thoughts.
I like it.
Okay.
It's not what I was expecting, but it was. But when I saw the, when someone posted it earlier, like way back, I was like, that's going to be something that they're going to use somewhere because it's that iconic. It has that.
Oh, you mean the actual gateway or the waygate?
Yeah, I don't know if it being a gateway. I don't know how they're going to do that, but I'm not going to get upset about changes because it's all about, what do you call it? It's the next turning of the wheel. So I don't want anyone, I don't want to be upset about, well, it doesn't have the story leaf or all those other things like that. If it's a gateway, it's a gateway. Let's just move on.
You know what? That's a refreshing perspective from someone that has read the books as long as us, because, like, I was just talking to Tom and Jono about, like, what if it's combining the waygates with portal stones? But what if they're trying to like make it the same thing, and they're like, well, I don't know
that would be
that or not.
That I don't know if you want to do that changing. You can't mix, because waygates and portal stones are two different things. Ones are dimensional. Waygates were to get you from one part of the same dimension to a different place, and you have to deal with Matty Chin and all the other things like that. Portal stones, on the other hand, take you to different dimensions, and then you have to shift from one dimension to the other, because as we went through, when the first time they went through it, it was like that whole, like, they all saw like multiple versions of themselves all at the same time. So I hope they don't try to do that, because mixing portal stones and waygates are two different things.
I mean, I agree with you. I don't know. I feel, no, that is a brilliant thought. I just feel like, in terms of the show, trying to cut down the amount of like interdimensional travel and streamline it into like one thing. Maybe that's what we're seeing in this poster.
I think they'll just drop out the portal stones altogether. I think that whole point that it's a great. It has a point when you read the books, but from a actual TV show point of view, how do you go about? Do you really need that? Do you really need that whole storyline? No, I don't think so. I think you can get around it in other ways.
So, I think it's only if you get rid of the portal stones and the flickering, like, it's really only relevant to somewhat Inkar's redemption. Otherwise, I don't know that we need them necessarily.
I agree. Like I said, Inkar's.
I got to be honest, Patrick, you know me, P-Mins. I love you. I'm with you all the way through. I think that what you said was almost entirely true. And I have a hard time, just like Joe knows, my butthole cannot loosen up 100%. I think that technically, foundationally, it depends on what they want the scope of the series to be, right? I think that foundationally, you see it so early that this isn't just fantasy series. Foundationally, you see that there's lines going on, right? There's timelines. There's different there's different
dimensions.
Yeah, there's different, all these different things going on. Like, it's honeycombed. And so it's fucking 100% relevant to what the fuck you read and what the fuck happens. And again, I get the fact that what you're trying to do is actually just put a TV series on show. And I get that. So you're probably 100% correct. And Joe has mentioned it a number of times, but I didn't listen to him other than a couple, that yes, this is just combining a waygate and the portal stones. But I view the portal stones, even though they are only in books 2, 3, 4, really, maybe 5.
I think they're in 5.
I don't think they may be mentioned in, but they're no longer relevant or used. Like, the value is there. But I mean, like, the fact is, you're probably correct, as Joe has been trying to allude to, that we're just going to combine them. Who gives a fuck? Whatever.
Well, I don't know. I don't think you should combine them. I don't think you should combine them. I think either you drop them out completely, you just throw the portal stones out of the story, and you say, okay, and then somehow or another you filter in that there are other dimensions somehow or another slightly. It doesn't have to be heavily, because you already have the world of dreams, and then you have the waygates as is. And do you need another set of dimensions? And how do you go about that? You could allude to it in a different way and not have them go to it.
I'm good with no other dimensions, and I hate the Ogier coming from another dimension aspect that is not part of the books and is part of whatever the encyclopedia is anyway. Like, if that had been part of the books in the first like 2 or 3 books, they're like, oh, and the ogre came from another dimension. I might have not have finished the series. I think it's silly.
Joe's about to burst the seams, and that's not even a sexual thing. So let me go with 2 things. Like, first off, I agree with Tom. Like, I remember reading it being just kind of like, that's a cheap kind of, I don't love it. Like, I'm okay with the idea that the ogre had a secondary knowledge realm, but the fact that they're not even endemic to this series, like, that just seems too much.
Interdimensional beings.
Yeah. Another dimension. Like, he had just been listening to a lot of
another dimension.
Yeah, just some Beastie Boys, and he's like, "We know where they're from. Another dimension." And Harriet was like, "Another dimension." He's like, "Another dimension." But secondly, P. Mins, I love you. I'm glad you're here. Honestly, I want you to know that, like, the red shirt you're wearing, which, by the way, hats off to our good friends Taviran Teens.
Taviran Teens?
Oh, that was their subsidiary, which was about underage sex. Taviran Teens.
Taviran Teens.
Okay.
He-Mans, I want to know your thoughts about, because I've listened to Tom and Jono's drunken idiocies about what they think about the weaves that are shown in the bottom left corner of the poster. What are your thoughts on those weaves?
They have potential, I think, especially if, as I see with what it is you see with the colors being part of the weave itself. But I don't think, I don't think the weaves are going to be that much of a visual thing. I think it's going to be more of, things happening. I don't know. It's going to be hard. That's going to be, I think, one of the hardest things from the pull off is the weave. It's going to be, how do they make that look good without looking cheesy or forced? That's, I think.
So based on this image and assuming that, like, I hold up my hand and these strands come out of it, and that's what's creating a fireball, for instance. Is that something that you're, like, okay with? Or are you looking at these strands going, what the fuck?
I don't think they should come out of your hand. I think that the thing should happen in front of them someplace and sort of all pull together and make it happen. Like, not come out of the hands, because it's not really coming out of the hands.
One of our number one takeaways just immediately from that image was just that it looks like it's unraveling, not forming into something. And that's like my number one takeaway of, like, that's not what I imagine. I imagine something culminating into a thing, not spreading out.
Well, they need to coalesce into something, because if you go, as we move forward, you got to remember that there's the whole point of when they can pull the weaves apart, as we, when they can say, you can, they can sit and, like, sort of, and pick the weaves apart later on. So I don't think the weave actually comes out of the hands. It's sort of, happens.
That was just a thought.
First off, Joe said coalesce, not coalesce.
Coalesce.
I wanted to coalesce.
Culminate.
I wanted to coalesce into something, not coalesce out of a ball of shit, like is what that picture looks like.
Well, I just think that we can't take that picture for everything it is. I think it's they're trying to throw a lot into a picture, and it's the first picture we get. You got to remember, this will.
You want to talk about what?
If everyone looks at what, just let's take Game of Thrones as an example, and because it is what it is.
Oh no!
What happened in the first? What happened in the first season or two was there was a growing up phase where things sort of came together, and I think that you're gonna have the first season's gonna be this, but as this thing matures, you'll find, and they get their groove on, we'll actually find a better
like Stella.
Yeah.
He's not wrong. Go on, P-Man.
That should not have stopped you.
But
it made me laugh.
You should have been like, normal tWoTcast bullshit. Moving on to my actual point.
That should not have been a conversation stopping joke.
But it made me laugh.
Okay.
It's so Tom's wife's black.
That's just why I look at it, is that being is we can't, day one is not going to be perfect. Mistakes will be made. Mistakes will be made, and then they will figure them out and say, "Oh, that didn't work," or "How do we fix that?" Or
You know what I think is interesting? One point that no one is pulling apart in this image is Moraine herself, and clearly everyone's like, "Bravo!" Like, that's Moraine. It's a blue cloak and it's a brown hair and it's Rosamund.
Yeah. Well, I think she was probably one of the best picks out of all the, when they went and picked character, picking an actress to play, play a role. She is, I think she's going to pull it off. Like, it's going to be amazing. I truly do think she's going to be.
Well, you go first. No, Joe, you go first because I'm going to say.
Well, the only thing that I was going to say was, do you think?
I don't know what you're going to say, but it already sounds dumb. It sounds like something from. Do you believe in God?
Do you believe in God?
I believe in God.
No, never mind. You're good, John.
So to me, like, what's weird is like, and again, I'm the pedantic as fuck kind of person, right? Like, I don't really. When I look at this, I could almost imagine this being from Egwene's point of view, and that's actually Egwene's hair, and it's just randomly, or other, I guess, Egwene.
Are we back on the idea that we think it might actually just be hair?
It's not fucking hair.
Obviously, it's not hair, but it just seems. It seems like why not? Why not just make? Why not just make this a bigger conversation?
I think it's hair. It's hair.
Honestly,
it's just hair.
As we all know, hold on, stop. No, go pee-pee, Tom. As we all know, Rafe Judkins was a huge fan of the 1960s theater ensemble Hair.
Oh,
and this.
You think someone's going to be on the other end of that?
P-Mins?
Tugging it?
You okay, P-Mins?
Think someone's going to be on the other end of that tugging it, John?
P-Mins is maybe shitting himself laughing.
Hey,
thank God I never.
By the way, we just like randomly brought P-Mins into this show with like no to do, and just like, hey, P-Mins is here. Let's talk to P-Mins. Let me just clarify. Patrick, we've known you for
a decade,
a solid decade.
Yes.
And you've been listening to our show for a solid decade, which is disturbing.
Why? What the fuck's wrong with you?
Wait a minute.
But
do you
also just
still listen to the show?
So weird that we haven't had you on the show yet.
I know, it's shocking.
I want to know for real.
Welcome.
Do you still listen to this show?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's the dumbest thing you've heard.
Anyway, you're dumb.
Yeah,
that's aside.
Yeah.
Patrick, so thankful for you to be on, and also you're helping illuminate our drunken conversation, and it's fun.
Thank you, Patrick.
And thank you, buddy.
And also, it was great hanging out with you last time at Jordan Con.
Jordan Con was awesome. Jordan Con is always awesome. There is never a time when Jordan Con isn't awesome.
Wow, we should record that. We should just have that.
That is recorded.
Yeah, Jennifer owes us money. Thank you. Hey, to you, my friend.
Slancha.
Analingus. That's how I pour.
So last thing we want to talk to you about, Patty, is the logo itself. What do you feel about it?
Oh, great.
How do you think about it?
That's deep.
It's not the typical wheel and stick weaving around.
I understand why.
This is the thoughts of a long-term book fan that has been with our podcast since the very beginning, and I can't wait to hear what he has to say.
I know why they changed it. Mouse ears. That's the why they changed it.
Say
because
it again.
Mouse ears. It literally
Mickey Mouse.
Circle and the circle.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse.
From a distance, it has that what we consider the logo. From a distance, has a mouse ear type of what do you call it, logo to it, and it's and
they don't want us to identify the show with Disney.
They don't want any association. So that's the whole changing it and going with that. And for us, we never saw the mouse ears because we're a bunch of nerds.
Book nerds, yeah.
Whoa.
No, we are.
Speak for yourself. I'm fucking cool and handsome.
I mean, I'm that logo has been, it's on my laptop. It's on my.
That was the joke that made Joe almost spit his beer out.
So continue.
Whoa, jinx.
So I think that they had to change it and they had to come up with something that's going to, take on the newer. You got to remember, we're bringing in a whole newer grouping of people and they're not going to get all the what's the word for it? The
nuance.
The nuance or the things that we just grew up with. We literally
association.
Yeah, but we've been those symbols have been around since the what fact days. We're going back to like the late 90s when what fact was around and everything else like that. And the boards.
There's so much theory and all that shit. Yeah.
So, but we consider canon things that we just think, that's what it is. Generally, people are not going to get it, and they didn't want any fight with Disney because God, you don't want that nonsense because Disney's the 10,000-pound gorilla. So let's come up with something. It works. It has the the snake biting the tail and the whole WT.
Let me tell you, this is what I don't like about it. It's not the actual logo. Period. That's the end and that's the beginning and end of it. This is what I do like about it. I love the swirls in the actual snake that make it not quite a snake and more of like a serpent, like a mythical serpent, like a dragon, or like it's a little bit less of like it's a snake biting a tail. Like it's not just a snake. There's like more. There's things going on in the metal of the like right behind the head that make it like less than just a snake.
Yeah, but the spinning
also the spinning of it while it bites its own tail implies the wheel, and it kind of combines those elements into one thing, which is streamlining it for television, and it makes a lot of sense. And the other lamest aspect on top of all of that shit is, from a logo standpoint, it fits in a fucking square and they can put it on goddamn Twitter. And like, that's probably why they did that.
But I think,
you know what I mean?
It's going to change. That logo is going to slightly change over the next year or two.
That would be very interesting if they changed it over the season.
Because
I like that
even the Game of Thrones, it slightly changed how they did it. Like I said, you got to use Game of Thrones as the example because it's the most successful.
It's the most successful series ever, pretty much. Yeah.
But
we hate to bring it up, but it's relevant.
I don't want to use it. I want to use it as an example of maturity over 2 or 3 seasons. It changed and grew. There were some changes. There were little tweaks and things, and those things because they saw what they needed to do. Yeah. So it's going to happen. But like you said, once again, us as the Uber fans are going to look at it from one point of view, but my brother, who's not a Wheel of Time fan, is going to look at this show and going to be like,
hey, cool logo.
That's cool stuff.
Oh, it's a snake making a wheel and it's biting its own tail and it's rotating and it makes sense to me. Perfect. I agree. I think someone that's not dedicated to the book series is going to look at that and go, I get it.
So, all right. Joe just called on me by not saying anything. I'm so fucking annoyed by this logo because it doesn't make any fucking sense. Look at where the fuck it starts. It starts at the head and it doesn't even take a full fucking, it literally stops at the head and it's already being swallowed. It's not swallowing its own tail. It's swallowing its own midriff. That's not fucking possible?
Jono,
Look,
you're literally illustrating how unintelligent you are right now, and it's adorable.
tell me why.
Because when it's animated, it starts with the tail flowing, and then the tail continues to flow behind it. And it's the flowing wheel of time.
You're
and
wrong.
no tail.
It's got to start with the back of the fucking tail. It irritates the fuck out of it. I hate it. I honestly fucking hate it. Like, you could have put anything else, but the fact that it starts one fucking cycle in.
Patrick, do you know what's funny about this? Tom and I have not heard these thoughts. This is pure Jono.
Does it not make sense to you?
Super new to me.
Well, this is why we love it.
Think about it. Like, look at it. Look, it's swallowing its tail literally one fucking cycle in, and somehow there's more. How are there more cycles?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. The viewers
it
can
does
see
matter.
That, right?
What's that?
The viewers can see that, right? You've got that on screen.
I mean, the viewers can
see the fucking anger in my face. Like, honestly, like, if you had just shown me like a fucking, like, if this first cycle was still like laid halfway over.
So intense.
Of course, it's literally by definition fucking wrong. It's by definition wrong. And that's what pisses me off.
John, the anger, you gotta let it go, let go of the anger.
Never.
Breathe it out, John.
How can you be this, like, honestly, defend this, mentally think about it. How is it that the snake is swallowing its tail right there? How is there more behind it? How is there more behind it?
Joe, can you put Jono downstairs with the dog and we can just finish the show without him?
Thank God. Where is the rest of the tail? If the
rest of the tail is that's tWoTcast for this week.
I have another question for Patrick.
Oh, too fucking bad, apparently. Way to go, Patrick. Now you've upset Violet.
I ruined it. It's all me.
No, all right. One last question, Patrick. Let's say you watch the first episode and you don't like it, and then the second episode and you don't like that either. How long will you watch the show before you give up on it?
I'd have to.
Will you watch it from start to finish?
Yes, I got to figure out what because it's one of those things I got to see. At least go through the first season and see if if you can get through the first season and you can see that there's some light at the end of the tunnel. But if it's a disaster day one and you're like, okay, I watched 8 episodes and it was a nightmare, but I don't see it being a nightmare. They're spending almost $500 million on this thing, and they're setting up a studio in Prague, and they're ready to go the long haul at this.
But all right. Well, consider the fact that, and I know nobody like in our immediate circle and the fans and fandom and our social media wants to understand this, but like, they are not making this show for us. We're a small amount of people. They're trying to make it their largest audience possible. Like, if they make a show that's like a hit with casual viewers, but that we all hate, like, that's not gonna that won't hurt their bottom line at all. Like, I just wonder, like, if we don't like it, like, how long? Well, I wonder if I'll just hate watch every episode forever.
I don't see how they even if they're making it for a different viewer, viewer, the story is immense, and I mean, as long as you keep to the story itself and not, you don't have to be exact. You know, there's variances back and forth. This story is amazing. I mean, this is a story to be told. And if you can tell this story at least at a level where you don't get the breakage of suspension of disbelief, because that's what made once again, I'm going to go to Game of Thrones. Suspension of disbelief wasn't broken. You felt like you were watching a story that was happening. This is a great story. And if it can be told properly, even if there are changes in the storyline to keep the thing going, this story will be amazing. It will be amazing on film.
Yeah.
Are you good if they wildly deviate from the narrative of the books, but they stay true to the characters and like what the story is about? Because I think I am. Like, I don't care if they go off the rails, as long as no character acts out of character and they follow the general direction of the story itself.
Yes, you can say I do, because it's a Nella turning of the wheel. So yes, there are going to be changes. As long as you don't go, off in like, left field and, crazy town like the
Wait,
characters.
what's left field? Give me an example. Give me an example of left field.
Well, there was like this whole thing. Someone said that, it was, Perrin wasn't, because they didn't think wolves were cool enough, and they were going to like, maybe he can be a bear instead of a wolf. and it was like,
I'm in.
No,
I'm all in.
But it was what do you call it? But then it was literally, Rafe was like, absolutely, positively no. That is not how this story goes. Because the writers were being writers, and they were like, no, bears are cooler than wolves. And it was like, and Rafe's like, no, he's a wolf brother. And that's important to the entire,
You mean
direction.
Bear Brother.
So, it goes.
Oh, that's Brother Bear. That's a Disney movie, John.
So
my bad.
So there were, different things like that. But I don't see, like I said, having Rafe and a couple other people that we know that are there, that are not, that are huge fans and also understand the story and the direction. Like I said, you're going to have variances. You can't tell that story on film. You can't tell it on film the way it is written, because first off, there's so much inner dialogue that's going on that if you tried to do that, you'd wind up with the first Dune movie, which was terrible.
How dare you? Also, yes.
I'm honestly excited. Like, if they were to change everything, but like they say, true to the story and true to the characters, but just like change everything. Like, I'm almost excited about it to see all these characters in this world that I love so much, and like through a different lens. Like, that would be fun. I've read the fucking books, like at least the first 8, 9, like 14 times. Like, I don't need a faithful adaptation. And I was falling asleep the other night, and I put on Watchmen by fucking Zack Snyder. God damn it, we're about to get trolled all over the place for that. But like, it was like basically a shot for shot remake of the book. And I think I enjoyed it the first time around, but like for a rewatch, I'm just like, I don't care anymore. I've read that book 12 times, and like, I didn't enjoy it. Like, I think I do want to see something different.
So it's a weird, it's a weird thing that, like, what I've always felt about this series, and it's my favorite series of all time, and I imagine that's true for most, not all. Obviously there's other things that go on, but for most people, this is one of their top 5 series of all time, right? To spend 14 fucking books, it's got to be important to you. It's a tough thing to imagine. Like, do you want it to follow 100% what you see in your mind, right? Like, and especially for those who have read it more than once, like, you have a concrete image of what Emmons Field looks like, what Emmons Field looks like when it's having been burned down, what Emmons Field looks like when they're trying to leave, what it looks like to go between Emmons Field and Barrelon following that, right?
But you always have that. That's the best part. You always have that.
But at the same time, like, what happens though? And like, it's a concern of mine of like, what happens if I like watch a series and it slightly changes what I feel, right? Having watched Game of Thrones, the series, which is of course not at all a series, it's a book. It's book 1 of A Song of Ice and Fire. It has changed a little bit of what I feel about what characters look like. I'm scared. Like legitimate scared. Maybe I'm not going to go hide under my bed, or will I? Of what that would do to my thought of what everything looks like for the Wheel of Time. Like, what if, watching the first fucking, season of the Wheel of Time changes my assumptions or my mental viewpoint of these things? Like, I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know if it can change. Like I said, some of us, like I said, John, we've been reading this stuff. I've read the entire series 12 times. Like, because of the amount of times every time it came out, you reread the series.
Agreed. 100% agreed.
But there are certain things that I'm going to, that's how I feel about it. Yeah. And when the TV show comes out, the TV show will come out and it'll be a change, but I'll always have the books as a thing in my, how I feel. And yes, there might be some changes in ideas, maybe something as it grows, but I don't see it being, it goes like, I don't know. It was, we were at closing ceremonies at Jordan Con, and Billy Todd was like, okay, so are we going to have a thing where, you know, when the TV show people meet the book people, do we throw down knives? Because it's going to be, you know, who's right, who's wrong, what's going to be. And it really shouldn't be that. It should be, they're two stories of the same. Like I said, once again, I keep saying the same a different turning of the wheel. It's a different.
First off, like, it's wonderful that he actually gave us this amazingly easy nomenclature, right? Like, it's literally, like you said, a different wheel turning, right? Like he, you know, unintentionally, I assume, gave us this perfectly kind of, you know, fungible kind of thing to just, that was a different wheel turning. So I think you're fine to use that. Go on.
But we have to learn to, as a group, especially at Jordan Con, when we get there, as you know, next year is going to be, the show's going to be out, and there's going to be, no matter what you're going to say, there's going to be the us and you group that's like, and we don't want to have that clique of, well, I've been reading the show.
No. I want to have that clique. I'm doing that. I'm doing it.
Because we can't have, you know, it's like there is, yes, I'm a book reader. I got it tattooed on my arm. It's not like this is like nothing like, so it's, I've been like, you know, a fan of this show forever. And I'm waiting for like all the, like, my friends that I grew up with, who always thought I was silly in my whole Wheel of Time.
That's unrelated.
You know, and then they're going to be like, oh, the Wheel of Time, the show was great. I'm going to be like, yeah.
Fuck you. I was here. Yeah, I was here 20 years ago. 30.
This is not new to me. This is
a weird thing. But yeah,
I think it's an important thought to embrace that part of the fandom now. Like, I think it's like our responsibility to bring those people into the fold and not be like, we're cooler than you. We've been reading these books for 25 years. You know, like it's part of our responsibility to be like, hey, it's cool. Come on in, hang out. You know,
I don't think it's a responsibility. I think it's just like what you do as a person is when someone's like, hey, I like this thing, for us to not be assholes and just be like, hey, we like it too. I don't think we have to be ambassadors.
Yes, we are ambassadors, Tom.
But like I said, it's turned, like I said, we this past Jordan Con, there was so many new people there this year.
It was awesome, amazing. Though. Like, we didn't really talk about it. Like,
Patrick, quick question. Like, you've been so like logical, level-headed, and compassionate for this entire conversation.
Oh yeah, he's a dude.
Who was the
Patrick? You're the worst.
Who is the biggest asshole that you met at Jordan Con that's like not into it at all? Like, I need that person's name so we can get them on the show.
Someone who's not into it at Jordan Con?
Yeah, someone who's super mad about the show and the changes. Like, let's get that person's name. You've been a perfect guest.
But there wasn't
Tom. That person did not exist.
It didn't exist at Jordan Con.
Yeah, is what P-Mens is trying to say.
Somebody get on Facebook and find the craziest motherfucker that's just screaming about this shit that they can. Let's get the
you wouldn't. I don't think it'd be at Jordan Con though. I think it
was Jimmy Liang. Jimmy Liang.
It's probably the worst.
He was the biggest asshole. He was like, I'm going to help everyone go find his or her seat. I'm going to go help each person try to go, like, you know.
So frustrating.
Yeah. Just
frustratingly accommodating.
And I never heard him say
friendly.
Tom, to your point, he never said anything good about the show. Never. Not a one fucking thing.
Yeah.
Jimmy Liang was really being a giant fucking asshole about
To
the show.
no one.
About the show.
Yes. He's such
about the show.
Hey, if you're not saying
about the show.
About the show.
if you're not saying nice things, you're saying mean things.
But he's
With your
such a bad
silence.
guy. But he's such a bad guy, Jimmy, that I talk to him 4 to 5 times a week.
I know.
What a
Literally,
fucking
I talk
asshole.
to him 4 to 5 times a week.
I know.
Can you imagine someone?
I can't even imagine dealing with that.
He's
4 to
such a
5
bad guy.
times a week. He's so nice and accommodating, and
Someone
all
taking
he
up-
wants to do is say hi. And I'm like, get out of here.
Someone
Just
taking
say you got-
hours of my week, like I'd be upset. That person's an asshole taking up that much time of your fucking week. Like Jimmy is really taking a lot of your life.
I feel like you're going out of your. You're really
he's-
trying to. You're
he's very
dated him
needy.
enough.
Hey,
He's
and
very needy.
Jen and Jimmy multiple times, and I don't know. I don't want to talk out of whatever. Put it on the podcast. They've had me over to their house, and they've been nice and offered me food and drinks. And it's bullshit.
Yeah,
asshole. Yeah, yeah.
worst people ever.
And they're like,
I've been to their house.
yeah. They're like, hey,
I
you want to meet
can't-
our
I can't
friends
even
and sit on my
imagine.
patio and smoke cigarettes and have free drinks? And I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you get off?
Well, I tell you where they get off. Looks like each other's faces.
Where do you
You
get
didn't
off?
know how to treat
Yeah,
a
big fan of
guest?
69.
Well, should we say this one?
Well, that's tWoTcast this week. If you have any comments or questions, the best way to find us is on Twitter at tWoTcast. Joe's kids coming.
Oh, yeah. Words and lines from the script that I don't have in front of me. So that's my part of the script.
Listen wherever you get your podcast. You can email us at tWoTcast@gmail.com.
Tommy, to give a shout, you want to just go.
I literally have nothing in front of me. Like, I don't know what you think I'm going to say.
Tom literally has nothing in front of him. tWoTcast theme songs.
Tabby Bennington is a badass, and Angel is awesome, and I fucking love those songs. And I get super drunk sometimes, and I listen to our podcast, and I literally only listen to the opening song and the closing song and skip the rest of it because fuck us. But they're awesome.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, that was good.
It's at Taffy Bennington, I'm assuming, and at Angel Ganhold.
We're on Patreon at patreon.com/tWoTcast. If you enjoy the show, help us out and give us some money and enjoy some exclusive content.
Thank you to
Only
our,
on Patreon.
Thank you to our myriad of guests tonight. We've had Patrick P. Mins, also known as the fucking biggest dick there is at Jordan Con, as well as Amy and Alan Romanchuk, also known as the best sex there is at Jordan Con. Some great stuff going on at Jordan Con.
Pretty good. Yeah, pretty good.
They do doggy style yoga.
They don't do doggy style yoga. They do yoga style doggy.
Oh shit, my bad. I got that wrong.
Yeah. Join us next week for we don't fucking know.
We don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff happening.
No goddamn idea.
And maybe we'll just have more guests on like P. Mins and Amy and Alan Romanchuk. We don't know.
Guess what we're gonna do though? An amazing show which you'll listen to and be like, oh, that was decent.
That was pretty good.
Oh, no, it's not amazing.
pretty good.
No,
Yeah.
it'll be
okay.
an amazing. It'll be an amazing show. You'll start to feel something in your pants. You'll unbuckle your belt halfway through. 3/4 of the way through, you're going to take your dick and or pussy out, and then by the end, you'll come.
Say goodbye to P. Mins.
Later.
Bye, payments.
That works. I'm Jono. Suck brick, kid. You listen to Joe.
Keep the change, you filthy animals.
Tom.
Study your fucking math.
Among the first to start, the tWoTcast was so smart to lovingly bash our favorite books. But that was long ago, and now they've grown the show, and now they got us in their hooks. Don't throw coins to these bastards, they need bars of gold at least. Someone please keep them afloat. Now let's listen as they once again ramble through a book. Let's get the fucking quote. One of them is Tom, but he is barely on. Sometimes he calls into the show. Another one is Jono. Is he their joker? Oh no. And Joe, is he the stupid one? Welcome to the tWoTcast. We will share our love for books and all our hate in every episode. will entertain you, make you laugh so hard you barely can stand up. That is the tWoTcast goal.
My wife goes to me, she goes, I get a text message while we're doing this. She goes, who are you talking to downstairs? She's upstairs, and I'm like, the tWoTcast guys called me.
Yeah,
What the fuck are you talking to? The tWoTcast guys called me, and she's like, okay, have fun.
Okay, have fun.
I love that that's an acceptable excuse.